Sheldon, in embracing what we like and rebuking what we don't like. If I don't like that, then God don't like it. You understand? You're not the thermometer for God.
That ain't you right.
Sometimes to make room for other gifts and opportunities, you got to learn how to applaud what you can't do. Let's have a conversation. I want to talk about some talented people. That's a brother by the name of Marshall McGoldrick. If you look him up, you Google his name, you'll find him. He's called the Magnetic Man. What this man has been known to do, he's in the Guinness Book of World Records because with his mind, he can cause objects to stick to his body as well as he can cause objects to move across the room using the power of his mind. It's almost like the movie The Matrix or some of this stuff. To watch Brother McCullough do his thing, it's got to be like a David Copperfield show or something. I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty darn good. There's another brother by the name of Manjeet Singh, who is called the Iron Man. And Manjeet Singh, he holds 30 world records. He has been known to pull a linear jet, having the jet tied to a rope to his ponytail. He's also picked up 175 pounds using his earlobes. I know you don't believe it. Just type the name in. You got Google on your phone right now. I wouldn't lie to you. So he performs even now publicly by doing these different feats. And not only that, there's another brother by the name of Michael Latito. Michael Latito is very peculiar because he was born with an unusually lined intestine for the ground. So he has been known to eat foreign objects over his lifespan. He has eaten a bicycle. It took him 15 years to eat a boat. But what he had to do was he had to eat 4 grams of metal every day for so many years in order to consume the boat. And he does this feat from time to time publicly because he was born. That's pretty gifted. I don't know anybody in here eat toys and play. As kids we swallow this stuff, but that's when I'm going to grab it by the ankle and turn us upside down and hit us in the back so that stuff will come out. And then there's another gentleman by the name of Zane Kwon. Zane Kwon is interesting because Zane Kwon can clap his hands at 107 decibels per minute. Now, 107 decibels may not mean anything to you, but just so you can have a frame of reference, a helicopter propeller turns at 110 decibels per minute. But this brother can clap his hands at 107 decibels per minute. They suggest that when he claps his hands, it sounds like an audience of 20,000 clapping their hands. So I don't know about you, but that's pretty talented. That's pretty gifted. And so the list goes on and on about people who have special gifts. There's a lady. I have a lady on my list. Named Betty Ransom Nelson. When she sings, she hits these notes that are not on the keyboard. And so what happens is whenever she sings this note, the musician just have to stop and play it. Let her go all where it is that she goes and come back. And when she comes back, then they join her again. I can't do it. Don't know many people who can, but I think that's pretty good. All right, now I'm just showing you particular gifts. People have. Right? I told you I'm going a long way.
Go ahead on.
Anybody ever took the IQ test?
My.
All right, you don't know how smart you are. The IQ test, I want you to understand, don't be afraid of it. You don't take it sometimes. The IQ test does not really speak as much to your intelligence as it does to your exposure. Because the questions on this test they deal with are questions that have to do with what a person has been or has not been exposed to. But there are particular people who have been born gifted and who have scored 100 or 140 or more.
My God.
Superior or genius. 120 to 140 is intelligent and gifted. 110 is academic intelligence, and 80 to 109 is average and normal. The average IQ in the United States is 107, which makes the United States a fairly smart nation. So when you take the test, just make sure you don't fall under 106. But let's deal with some people who have scored highly on this test. Brother by the name of Paul Allen from Microsoft, he scored 160 on the IQ test. I was shocked when I saw this. Actress Sharon Stone scored 154 on the IQ test. Same thing I said. Not only that, but Isaac Newton 190 on the IQ test. Our beloved Martin Luther King scored 170 on the IQ test. What does this have to do with Jesus? Hold tight. Rembrandt scored 155 and Sir Francis Drake scored 130 on the IQ test. Now, what I'm saying to you is this. You may not be able to pull a plane with your window down. You may not be able you may not be able to eat a bicycle. You may not be able to score 130 on an IQ test. But I want you to understand that there is a way that you can learn how to maximize whatever it is that God has given to you. I get on my wife sometimes. I know she don't like it when I preach about her. But sometimes it bothers me because I have identified a cycle in our community. We have become so enamored and we marvel at the rich and famous. We spend time. I know y'all watch it too. You watch the Housewives of New York, Housewives of Atlanta. You're so enamored about what they're doing and where they live and what they drive. I don't know. I'm just different. I can give a rat's tail about what they do. I don't care what they drive, where they live, how they live their life, because I'm just too consumed with what God. And I know you see what happens. You spend too much of your time trying to figure out what they're doing, and you broke. Y'all ain't gonna talk back to me over here. I know. So I want you to stop doing that so much. All the time you spend watching the rich and famous and see how they live, you could be working on your dream, your vision, your product, your purpose. So then maybe somebody will sit at home and watch you on TV. Y'all like it hurts to say ouch and take it. Come on, man. I'm talking about gifts. I'm gonna get there in a moment. But I also discovered, Bishop, that it's tough living around double portion people. It's hard to function around double portion people. It's hard. It's hard. You can try to act like it's easy if you want to, but it's not. That's what it means. I have to imagine what Elisha felt like.
My God.
Having to grow up behind Elijah, the miracle man. He prayed to God and God to react to him. Listen, if somebody great is on the program, let me go first. Because it's better to go before greatness than it is to come behind greatness. And sometimes people don't understand your trepid approach is that there is pressure when you grow up around double portion people. There are people who can just sing naturally, preach naturally, they just dress naturally, they look good, and I have a problem. I feel good in my element, but when I get around these people who are multifaceted in their existence, it's pressure. You might not want to admit it, but that's you. You don't believe it. I believe Joshua had a hard time coming behind Moses. Moses had gotten water out of a rock and had rivers standing up on both sides and had the bush catch on fire and was not concerned. I got to come behind him. It's tough being around double portion people. Some folk you don't want to preach if they show up. Some folk you don't want to sing if they in the audience. Some folk you don't want to do nothing because it's pressure.
Sometimes.
I know exactly what that's like. I grew up in a house with a man named A.C. Nelson, and so as I started to preach the gospel, the expectation for me was always to be like him. I can't be him, but that was the pressure that I had to live under because of what people saw and got from him. They expected to get that from me. I can't do what he does. But I thank God that I got comfortable soon in my own skin. That's why I want to stop. I want to promise parents that tell somebody in the room that the kingdom of God is not in need of another carbon copy. The kingdom of God does not need a carbon copy of Brian Nelson. Listen, sons and daughters, you can be under me, but that don't mean you have to sound like Luke, like and walk like Luke.